things. I am your host, Danny Ocean, joined as always by the smoothest man this side of the Mississippi, Los de Mix. What's happening, baby?
Hey man, you already know when you see this Nas fade, it could only be one brother, the good brother, Los D Mix, Danny Ocean. As always, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. It's an honor. Excited to get into it, man. Excited to get into it.
Hey man, we got a lot to go over tonight. So first of all, as always, this show is sponsored by goingfor2.com. Go over to goingfor2.com to get all your betting and fantasy advice. Earn some extra paper. Excuse me. And remember, you got to report that money to the IRS. Got a little frog in my throat, man. I'm hyped. A whole lot of stuff happened since the last time we linked up, man. And the big one is that man Dak Prescott got paid.
Yeah.
That man
he got the bag.
Dog, my man got 4 years, 160 million with 126 guaranteed. He now has the second highest average money-wise, second to Patrick Mahomes. D, was this a good move? Was this a good deal? Not a good move. It was a great move. Was it a good deal?
You know what? I'm going to say, and I'm going to take my Cowboy hater hat off. I'm gonna say this is a good deal. I think as you can see before the injury, Dak was playing at a very high level for his position. He was doing a lot of good things. He was playing his way into this deal. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and I think obviously that drew a lot more questions than it did answers. Kyle also, what's up? What's up, Sini? Thanks for being in the chat. But I think that injury of his drew more questions than it did answers. So I think that's why we had some of this long play out. But I think, given the dynamics, what is it? Was it a 2 or 3 year deal? It was a 4 year deal, 160 with 126 guaranteed. I mean, I think from, the cap space that gives Dak a whole lot of money in his pocket, and that also allows the Cowboys in their end to do some with the remaining cap. So I think this works out for both sides, and he has a chance to play through it and earn himself an even bigger contract in a few years too.
First of all, Cal has figured it out. If you hit us in the chat, we chat back. What up, Cal? Thanks for joining us. And as an Eagles fan, I love it. And it's not even like you said, it's not even a haterade thing. Like, I love seeing athletes get their paper. I don't care who it is. Dak got his money. Get that paper, young man. He bet on himself. He won. The crazy thing about this is it's a win for Dak, but I feel like it's a loss for the Cowboys because you could have paid Dak 2 years ago and locked him up for 5 years at a lower rate. But now you got to pay him. Now you got to pay him the second highest average. He has a no trade clause. He has a no tag clause. So guess what? In 3 years, you're gonna have to pay this man one more time. Like he'll be 31 when the deal gets, he can get a re-up. Like he'll be in his prime still. So shout out to Dak, man. Like even as an Eagles fan, I can't hate on this man at all. He got his paper. Zeke got his paper. Amari Cooper got his paper. You love to see it. Earn that money, young buck, because I would do the same thing.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, like, even though I'm not a fan of the team he so happens to be quarterbacking for, I do think, this Dak has been a model, as a man, he's been a model citizen, a model leader. He's obviously performed when healthy very well at a high level on the field. His team maybe hasn't had the maybe team success he's been looking for, but that doesn't devalue him as a quarterback. So I think it's a smart move from the Cowboys' perspective, number-wise. Dak got that money in his pocket. Shout out to you, Dak Prescott. If I hit you up for a cheeseburger or something, I hope you reply. Hey, you can afford it.
Cal,
go ahead.
Say Cal makes a great point there. The Cowboys were done for dragging it out. But yeah, I feel like for me, they called Seattle about Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll laughed in his face. So Jared's like, all right, I guess we're going to have to go ahead and pay this man.
Look, let me tell you something, man. This Russ thing, it's getting a little shaky. Last week I was like, there's no way they're going to trade him. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, they might mess around and do something dumb like trade Russell Wilson.
Hey, that's what the streets need. Get Russ out of Seattle. Get Russ out of Seattle. But back to Dak. For me, like this, and again, like as an Eagles fan, like the Cowboys are so primed to win the division next year, and I cannot wait until they're 8-7 going into week 16 against Washington for the title on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be glorious. Dallas should win this division by week 13.
Failing to think about is that they play in the NFC least. So the Eagles, that's an automatic 2 victories. They'll probably split with the football team. And given the Cowboys' history, they'll probably sweep the Giants.
I'm
So
saying
that's
though,
4
like
guaranteed wins, I think. They're fighting with the football team to maintain that dominance. I think you're looking at a 9-10 win team next year. But that's just my personal thing.
but 9 or 10 wins is good enough to like have the division wrapped up by week 13. Like this, there should be no NFC East primetime games after week 10. Like the Cowboys should have
Well, it
this
usually
out
takes
of
like week
reach.
14. If you're in a competitive division, which they'll be in between them and the football team, they should be fighting for 9 wins. Let's just say bare floor, maybe ceiling, 9 wins. Maybe
They
ceiling.
should they should win 9 to 11 games in this division. Like they should put me out of my misery by week 10. Like by week 10, I should know who the Eagles need to look at drafting. Thank you,
Thank
Dan.
you,
It's a
Dan.
trash division.
Thank you,
It is
Dan.
so garbage.
Thank you. It's
Dallas
so
should
bad.
have this wrapped up by week 11, and they won't. And I will be here to laugh at all of you Cowboys fans because football, we're going to get these jokes off in football season. Y'all clowns. But for right now, I'm happy with Dak. Get your bread. See you week what? We usually pay Dallas last week of the
said
season.
that Washington will most certainly get better QB play than last year. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know about that. Taylor Heineke, let's just see what he's got. But I know a lot of Washington football team fans personally, on a personal level. They're my good friends. And they wanted Matt Stafford. They couldn't get Matt Stafford. They wanted Deshaun Watson. They're not getting Deshaun Watson. They wanted Russell Wilson. They likely won't get Russell Wilson. They wanted Dak Prescott. I knew one guy who was like, yo, we should definitely try to get Dak Prescott. And I was like, what? You've been saying he's trash for the last 3 years. He was like, okay, but still, I think given the certain under our situation, he might be a very good quarterback. And I'm like, okay. So Kyle, I'm with you. I think they'll get better quarterback play than last year, but that's not saying much. I mean, the bar is already very low. So.
The bar is in hell. Go ahead and say the bar's in hell.
I don't want to say that.
I mean, Alec, like no disrespect to Alex Smith, right? Because he's the comeback player of the year. He absolutely deserved it. Like no disrespect, but as a fellow ODU alum, as Taylor Heineke, like he's cool, but he don't put fear in my heart. Like if I'll put it like this: if Taylor beats me, then I deserve to lose.
Oh, okay. So like, guess we'll see how we'll see how it goes.
I'll ask you this question: if Washington has an opportunity to upgrade, do they still stick with Taylor? Like if Jameis Winston's like, man, I want to come to DC. Do you think Washington like, oh no, Jameis, we have Taylor. We don't have room for you.
Definitely they will. I think they'll still take an upgrade. Upgrade at the quarterback position. But I think that's like any you give any quarterback that I mean any franchise whose quarterback isn't like a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or something like that, where it's not a solidified number one. I mean, they're always looking to upgrade that position. I guarantee Lions are somewhat. I guarantee the Lions are looking to upgrade just a smidge from Jared Goff. So
that's fair.
Dan Turner says, "What if Washington snags Watson?" I mean,
it's a wrap. That's a wrap.
That's a solid 9-10 win team.
That is an 11 win team if they snag Deshaun. They got Scary Terry. They have Antonio Gibson. They have a top 10 defense. Yep. If they grab Deshaun Watson, then Washington wins the division week 9. Like we can stop. I'll have 7 weeks.
I think it's definitely going to be a 2-headed horse race between the Cowboys and the football team. But don't sleep on the Giants. The Eagles don't sleep on the Giants.
I am knocked out. I'm drunk sleep on the Giants. They're excited for Saquon to come back, but my question is, how many wins does Saquon give you? Like, what's his value? Like, does he give you 2 extra wins?
I'm telling you, watch the Giants be like a competitive team, 7, 8, 9 wins.
Now that Carson's gone, Danny Dimes, like those fumbling issues, like now it's him. Now he's the fumbler in the NFC East. Like Carson's gone, he can't protect you.
We'll see.
They could trade for something. Cal says, let's put these on the screen. These are great comments. They could trade for someone like Dan said, Watson, but if they can't afford that price, they can go after Marcus Mariota or someone in that value range. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Hibernation for the Giants. I'd be if the Giants win. If the Giants win over 9 games, I'll eat a spicy pepper on this show. That's on God.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
believe that.
Bookmark that. Bookmark that.
Bookmark. That's on everything I love. I ain't scared of nothing New York got for me. Let's see.
No.
I mean, yeah. So let's say, what if Washington does get Marcus Mariota? What does that do? I'd pick them. I'd pick them as the favorite because of their defense.
Nah, I think I'd still take Dak and Dallas over a Marcus Mariota led Washington football team. I mean, you're not getting it's not much. That's not a better upgrade than Taylor Heineke, guarantee. Given someone he already
What?
given that he already knows the system, I think I'd still pick. I'd still guarantee you they go into week 1 with a QB battle. I'll put it like that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's shift gears. I know you and I have been itching to talk about this since the buzzer sounded last Wednesday night. So the Jazz lose to Philadelphia in OT, whatever, who cares? Donovan and Rudy Gobert get in front of the cameras, get in front of Americas, and they fix their lips and they say, small market teams get officiated differently than big market teams. Anyone who's been following me on Twitter know I've been having fun at the Jazz's expense for 7 full days, and I don't plan on stopping. So, D, I'm going to let you go first. Do they have a point?
I mean, they absolutely have a point. But I'm gonna ask Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert this: when they was growing up playing 2K, did they choose the Utah Jazz? No.
Nope.
So why would America do anything differently? Come on, man. And the thing is, no one. They say this like they don't have the best record in the league for one. I'm just gonna throw that out there. You're complaining with the best record in the league, whatever. And two, they're acting like I think Donovan. I don't understand how Donovan doesn't think he's getting these superstar calls, right? He's getting these superstar calls. He's sometimes they do fall unfortunately in his way. I think that's part of the game. I mean, I think everyone at some point has been a victim of a questionable call at some point. But let's not act like Donovan Mitchell doesn't get his own calls in that market. That in itself. Now let's talk about the Jazz. Okay. Maybe the reason why is because you guys haven't won anything. There's no championship banners from the Utah Jazz franchise. Michael dubbed that. And you guys really haven't been the most relevant since. Then every time you become a little relevant, you start complaining. Then everyone's like, well, why are you complaining? Most of the time you stake. And then you're like, blah, 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 small markets. Like, it's like a revolving tornado of this, man. Like, just accept that the Utah Jazz are good. They're getting the respect as a potential contender, but until they win something, they will always be known as a potential contender and not a guaranteed contender.
So I think Donovan has a point, but it's in the wrong it's based in the wrong hypothesis. So first, there's no statistic or data out there that suggests that smaller market teams get officiated different than big market teams. I will go to your point of superstar calls. So outside of Giannis, like how many superstars are in these small markets? Zero. And I think that's what he needs to be pointing at. It's like superstars get the calls, and it just so happens that superstars play for the Lakers. Superstars play now they play for the Clippers. They play for the Heat. They play for the Nets. Like,
I mean, they even play for, the Knicks. They play for the Mavs. Some of these up-and-coming teams, Chicago. I mean, even when you think about all-stars, I mean, outside of the guys from Indiana, I mean, look where majority of these all-stars are coming from.
Exactly.
Best players are coming from the big market teams.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. I knew I forgot when Damian Lillard is in Portland. Like, those are the only two.
That's a small market.
Yeah, Portland's considered a small NBA market. I mean, they have a great fan base, but I feel like Portland, like in the landscape of the NBA,
the city is considered a small market. Is that how they did that?
I mean, we can Google it. I'm talking about like just in regards to the NBA that
Portland got to be top 15 population wise. Ain't no way they consider that small. They consider that small market.
I mean, compared in the NBA, you got 2 LA teams, you got 2 New York teams, you got Dallas. Miami's not a big media market, but it's Miami. That's 5 right there. And then,
okay.
I mean, but the point still remains that, and I don't mean this as a knock to them, but they aren't superstars, so they're not going to get superstar calls. Like I don't think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar yet. You can't get 33 points off 34 shots and tell me you a superstar. It
Hey,
don't work like that.
That's that supreme efficiency.
That is, I saw that stat line. I think I sent you that stat line. He was 33 points off 34 shots and then got the nerve to get in front of the media and was like, it's the ref's fault.
It's the ref's fault. I was like, what?
Dog. I think it was like 12 of 34 from the field. Bruh, you can.
And 2 days later, him and his teammate are taking dead last in the All-Star draft, and you're just sitting there like, you know what? You hate to see it. You hate to see it, but Bron won't tell no lies. I dare him to go back even to old 2K and NBA games and ask, hold on, Kyle. Quick research shows Portland as the
Yeah, it's Portland small, man.
I mean, I see it.
Philly, yeah, thank you. I forgot about Philly. Oh, Lord, I forgot about Philly.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I see that. I guess that makes sense. I didn't know. Dan Turner said score a point in OT. You're not lying there. I didn't know Portland was 27.
Yeah, it's like especially in the NBA league. Like how many they have? I mean, they have the Portland. What's the soccer team? The Portland Sound, the Trailblazers, and that's it, right? Like they don't have a lot.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Okay.
I mean, you used to live in Portland though, right? So it probably felt pretty big. Like, is it a condensed space?
Maybe that's what it was. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to the fans for that one. That's a big research. Big research there because I'm sitting here flabbergasted at the knowledge in which I have learned, getting on my TI vocabulary.
Oh, good night. Score point. Yes, man. So let's really quickly talk about the All-Star game. Like, did you enjoy the festivities?
Oh, you know what? I'll take it one by one. The skills challenge, I more so thought it was funny listening to Kenny and Shaq because Shaq's over here like, it's a big man running the league. And Kenny, every time one of the big men would go against a guard, Kenny we were talking about some man. If he loses this man, I'm gonna walk off the show. So of course he lost, and everyone was adding him like, "Yo, you supposed to be walking off now." But obviously he couldn't do that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought the 3-point contest, it just wasn't fair, man. After Steph went, I was like, oh, you dirty dog. You dirty dog. You knew you was about to do this. Why you do this? And every time he hit a 3, I was just like, you are so dirty. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. But nah, I think he just solidified himself as the greatest shooter of all time. But we knew that, right? We knew that. Dunk contest, I thought the guy who won it was a lot more impressive than people were giving him credit for. Like, I think people don't realize how explosive you have to be to jump that high with both hands like that. Pause. Like, it was very, very impressive just from an athletic standpoint. I was very impressed. All-Star game was fun too. I think they're out there having fun, so I can't complain either.
So skills competition, I was pissed at Luka because Luka obviously didn't want to be there. Like he dogged it. He dogged it in the All-Star game. He dogged on the skills competition. I was kind of pissed at Luka, but that's okay. 3-point
he didn't want to be there.
He didn't want to participate in the skills competition. Like Luka was dogging it. Luka missed that that chest pass. I was like, come on, dog. Luka was dogging it during the skills competition.
He didn't want to be there. He was just there to so he wouldn't get fined, man.
Like I don't think he wanted to be in Atlanta, and I don't blame him. The 3-point contest was the most entertaining thing of the night. I think you're right. I think Steph kind of took the gas off, and then he got to that final rack and was like, all right, let's give him a show.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just sitting there. I was like, yo, you're not fair for this. Why are you doing that? Why you doing
exactly he was doing that. And then for the dunk contest, I really think Obi was robbed. Like all that guy did was the most basic dunks just to show off the vert. We get it. You can jump high. You have all this hang time. Do something.
He did.
Obi jumped over 2 dudes that were over 6'6" and cranked out a windmill at the same time at 6'9".
other dude physically jumped higher. Like physically.
But
Like,
he did nothing with it. Like he just,
hey, what's
oh, I can jump high.
jumping over some dudes that got their head dipped a little bit?
How many times, like how many dudes you seen in the gym show off the vert like that? Like, okay, dude, you can jump high. We got it. He did nothing. Like Obi was robbed. Like called the
Bro,
police.
he kissed the rim.
No, he didn't. If he had kissed the rim, I'd have been impressed. He did not kiss the
Well,
rim.
he couldn't physically kiss the rim because of health and safety protocols. But his lips was right at his lips was right at rim level. Pause.
You don't almost kiss anything. Cal, can you give us some curling stats? I'm very interested. You said you didn't watch the All Star this year because you were watching curling. I need to know more about
pull
this.
it up on the screen.
Yeah, can you give us some curling stats? Like, who is your favorite curler? I'm very intrigued by this. If you don't mind, if you have the time, yeah, because I feel like your forearms got to be like the size of someone's quads, right? Like,
just gotta be.
Hey, dog, I was making steaks the other night, and I had to do the shaker and to turn my forearms on fire. I can't imagine what life was like curling. But what's his? But dog, Obi was robbed. Like that man is 6'9".
I mean, I guess we have our own personal opinion. I believe the guy rightfully won, but you think Obi was robbed. So,
all right, this is what's next? Oh yeah, so pictures of the new Space Jam dropped last week on Entertainment Weekly, and it looks pretty dope. Do you think it's going to be a hit? Are you excited? Or do you think this is a play on our nostalgia? Like, what are your vibes from the new Space Jam?
Well, see, I'm torn because the original Space Jam has a lot of nostalgia, but we also have to kind of remember that. And no disrespect to the one of the greatest to ever played, but let's not act like he gave us a Denzel like performance in that movie. Like he did very good for an actor. I mean, for an athlete acting in a movie. But I think this one, overall is going to have. I think it's going to be maybe better acting overall. Obviously, better animation and stuff like that. So I think visually is going to be a very good movie. Storyline, I'm going to be sitting back like, like interesting because I'm obviously going to be a lot older now when this comes out, so it's not going to make me feel like it did when it originally came out. But I think it's going to be a good movie. I do think part of the ploy of the movie is to play on people's nostalgia, so that's kind of the give on this. But it's just my opinion.
So traditionally, like I'm kind of against all these remakes. Like I wish Hollywood was a little bit more, original. But I'm kind of hyped for this, to be honest. Like I remember the original Space Jam. I think the plot for this one it's really interesting. It's not as simple as aliens stealing skills. I think they're like LeBron's son wants to be a game developer, and they get caught in like a virtual world, and LeBron has to hoop his way out. Like that just sounds pretty cool. Sounds like a gauntlet that I'd like watching. Rest in peace, Pepe Le Pew, because he's not in the film this time. Because he'd be out here reckless.
He be out here risking it all, and they said, "Nah, sir, not today. We got to get you
today.
Up out of here." We say, "Sir, we got to get you up out of here."
Hey, if we talking about getting Pepe Le Pew, man, we can get Elmer Fudd out here too. I was never an Elmer Fudd fan.
Oh, Kyle said his favorite curler would have to be Brad Jacobs. By the way, they are from Northern Ontario, only a couple hours from where I grew up. His team won the Olympic gold medal in 2014. That's incredible. Might have
Kyle
to bring Brad Jacobs on here. See if they can.
Yeah, like we need like Kyle. Maybe one week, we can get you on the show, Kyle, and you can give us like your best.
I'm telling you,
give us like is it a flick of the wrist?
I'm trying. They gotta be getting that thang in there. That's like curling. That stuff like they be really when they really be curling. They be, and I'll be like, yo, is there something on the ground? Like, do they scrub the ice to like make the traction? I don't know.
No idea. Yo, can you do that again? It looks like you unloading the clip. We're gonna have to get to restream and make a GIF out of that. Like that.
Oh man.
Oh,
Oh, all right, brother.
oh,
Well, I heard yesterday was National Women's Day, so I want to take this
yes.
time to really thank all the wonderful women out here who are just out here spreading their magic, spreading their love, spreading their badassness all across the world. I believe we all need to really appreciate how incredible women are and the incredible things they not only do for and every one of us, but just for everyday life as we know it. So shout out to all the ladies out here. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. Much love, much appreciation from the good brother.
Exactly what D said. I want to send a special shout out to the love of my life, my boo. I know you one of the 9 people in the room right now watching. How sweet it is to be loved by you. To all the women, she saw this big ass head and was like, you know what? I think he cute, and here we are. So, Cal, yeah, you do have to come on and explain curling to us because, yeah, we.
All right, brother. Well, I heard you had a rant, so holla at us.
Tonight we're going to end on a story. A story. It's not a rant. It's more of one of the most humbling things that's happened to me in my years on this earth. So I have a nephew. He's 17 years old. He's a big sneakerhead. He loves the ones, right? But before we get to that, he had a job. He quit his job. Now he's starting this car washing business. Like he's doing car washing. He's doing details. He was like, Uncle, hey, Unc, come through, get your car washed. He lives in the middle of nowhere. I ain't driving out there for him to wash my car and then come home. So I said, hey, man, how about this? Send me your price sheet. I'm going to pay you in advance. And then when I see you, you can just wash my car then. Because again, like they live in the middle of nowhere. Like it's an hour going and coming. Like, dog, that's the whole day.
Some so he can just have them on call to something like that.
Right. I was like, yo, when we link up again, man, you can just wash my car. We'll be good. Keep that in your back pocket. So Saturday night, my man texted me. He's like, hey, man, the ones come out tomorrow, the Carolina ones. I love them. They're beautiful. I'm not asking you to buy them for me. I just want to talk about sneakers. And I was like, oh, man, this is dope. I love to connect with the young folk. Talk to me. And then I told him, I'm not a big sneakerhead, but I can survive a conversation. I don't like the Jordan 1s. They look like Air Force 1s to me. They're the same shoe with a higher markup. Like, I'm not a fan. Is there a retainer fee for a car washer? I mean, this time it is. Just because he's my nephew, not normally. It's because I love him. That's it, Kyle. But anyway.
Explain this. You don't like the Air Jordan 1. You think they look like?
I don't like the ones. I'm not a fan of the ones. I love the 12s, the 5s, and the 13s. Like the Bell Edge 5s are the most perfect.
I'm gonna add that one to know the things I should be keeping in mind. The fact that you don't like it.
I'm just not a fan of the ones. Like they just don't do it for me. Like I get they go perfect with a pair of jeans. Like I get all the styling. They just don't do it for me. Okay. So I show him the shoes that I love, right? The Answer 4s. For those who don't know, the Answer 4s, the great Allen Iverson over my shoulder, may the spirit of Iverson consume you forever and ever. The Answer 4s are the shoes he wore when he crossed up Tyronn Lue in the 2001 finals. Reebok is re-releasing the 4s in the red and gray colorway. So I thought this was a moment for us to connect. I was like, you love the ones. These were the shoes for me back in the day. I love these shoes. So I sent him a pic. Screenshots and puts it on Snapchat saying, Uncle, I'm going to expose you. These are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life. I was so pissed Friday night. He said, no, it gets better. It gets better. So he clowns me all night. I had to change the subject and talk about foams, right? Because everybody loves the foams. I was like, man, let me get out of this. Because he was laying into me about how ugly these shoes were. So the next day he FaceTimes me with his mother, my sister, and he says, Mom, look at these ugly ass shoes Uncle Matt want to buy, and clown me in front of his mother, aka my sister, and said, Uncle Matt is gonna buy these ugly ass Iversons, and he gonna talk about me getting these ones. And here's the cherry on top. And then the man texted me his Cash App and was like, you said you were going to send me money to prepay for your car wash. Where the money? I said, boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I ain't send you. When I see you, I'm going to choke you out and I'm going to leave you in the yard for the dogs. Got the nerve to clown me for 12 hours and then ask me for some money that I don't even have to give him. It was humbling. I don't think I've been played like that since high school.
Oh man. Okay, first off, as a man that is a lover of shoes, I will say that those shoes that are not ugly, but you can ask anyone who really followed the sport back in the day, or like sneakers. Those are a pair of classics, or they are well respected. So that's how I know he a young bull. He don't really know what he dissing for one.
He's
Two,
17.
man, well, he gotta know something. I mean, well, if he's 17, I mean he wasn't even alive when those finals came out. I mean, when those
I
finals
wasn't
happened.
alive when the ones dropped, but I understand their importance.
But he don't know. He don't really know who AI is though.
That's pathetic. Then I failed as an uncle. I failed as a man if you don't know who Allen Iverson is.
Now that I can't comment.
Oh, here's another one. So I sent him a picture of the T-Mac 2s because I did get those. Clowned him too. He said it looked like clown shoes. He's like, you wore them to school, uncle? And I was like, dog, when I see you.
Don't know. See, he grew up on the Kyries, the KDs, the LBJs. He don't know about the T-Mac. He don't know about the AIs. You know, I know that those were still young in my prime, like young days of mine, but I have some recollection of him. He just too young. He's just too young. But boy, he gave you that work. He gave you that work.
He not young enough to get choked out. I'm serious. When I see, I don't care. He bigger than me and everything. I'm gonna see that dog. I'm gonna throw it.
Give you that verbal jab, right hook.
Dog, I'm gonna put him in this bicep and I'm gonna choke him out like Hulk Hogan. That's on every. I'm gonna record it. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna put it on Twitter where I'm meeting him, and then I'm gonna get on the restream right here, going for 2 live, and I'm gonna choke him out in front of America. Let the police come.
That's your nephew. You ain't gonna do nothing but get that boy a hug next time you see him. He didn't clown you.
Now that the hug is the precursor. Like that's to lower men, and then I'm gonna.
What you was out here saying? You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that.
For real, I might buy him the answer 4s though, just to troll him. I might get them for him and not myself.
You got to buy for him anyway.
I think that's it. The time has flown by. Tonight was great. D, you got everyone. Thanks for joining us for episode 5 of Speak on It. Los DeMix, where can the folks find you?
Y'all know you can find me on Twitter, on IG, and on Twitch at Los DeMix. That is LOSDEEMIX. You already know when you see this fade, it can only be one brother, the good brother, Los DeMix, Danny Ocean. As always, it's a pleasure being with you. To the people.
And that's it for us. Cal, thank Cal, Dan, everyone that came through and hung out with us and chilled with us. Cal, we're going to get you on this joint, Cal. We're going to talk about curling. I look forward to it.
We're going to bring you on to Speak on It.
Our first guest. That's how we know we made it. People, we got guests, dog. But find me on Twitter, MattAds14, and call me Danny Ocean. D, let's say goodbye to the people.
People, as always, keep it real. Keep it 8 more than 92.
Hey, peace.